Another thing that I want us to take a look at is, you see, we have our text is in lower cases. If we want to change it to upper cases, there's a property that we use called text transform. So text transform simply transforms the text from one state to the other. Okay, for now it's in lower case, so let's transform it to the upper case. So we specify upper case, and when we go to the browser to refresh, you see that now our text is in the upper case. We have converted it from the lower case to upper case. We can also make it capitalized, and what's happening with the capitalized is, if you make it capitalized, it will make sure that the first letter of every word will be in the upper case. It will make sure that the first letter of each word will be uppercase. So let's refresh. Okay, and you see this first word, the first letter of each word is in the uppercase. That is what the capitalize does. Okay, so we can set it back to lowercase, which was the default. We say lowercase, we refresh it from the browser, and we see everything back to the lower case. This is about text transform. We also have text decoration. Okay, so text decoration is a way of decorating the text, and these are some of the values that are available. We will be using the underline, so let's look at what happens. Text decoration underline will simply decorate this whole sentence with an underline. Let's refresh. You see the underline decorated? Yes, that is what the text decoration does. And also we have another property, another value called the overline. The overline, this one is the underline, so overline will move the line at the top. Okay, this is overline you are seeing on the screen. We also have another one. We have another property called the line through. Okay, so the line through will just cancel it. It will put the line through the text as you are seeing, line through. Okay, line through. And there are some other things that you can attach to them. For instance, we can make the line through dotted or dashed. So line through, then we add dotted. Line through dotted, and this one to make the line in between, to make it to be dotted. Okay, you see it is dotted. We can also make it dashed so that it will be in dashes. Okay, it will be in dashes, and this property does not apply to only the line through. It can be applied to all the other property, all the other values, like the underline. Okay, if it's underline, it will be underlined, just that, and also the line, it will be underlined, but the line will be dashed. Okay, it will be dashed. And then we can also have the overline. All right, so have the overline, and the overline too will be dashed. So that's all about the text decoration. Okay, that's all about the text decoration. There are other stuffs that you can also add, so play around them and try and see the new things that are in. We can't cover everything. Okay, we will just do the most important. Most of the time what you will be doing is the text decoration underline. All right, this is what most of the time you will be doing. So that's it for the text decoration. All right, I want to introduce you to another topic called the, let me comment it out, another topic called the line height. The line height. Okay, let's come back to the browser and see what we have. So for us to be able to see the line height, I will add some of the sentences. Let me add more sentence so that we can see what we really want to demonstrate. So we refresh, and this is what we see. Now line height simply refers to the spaces in between sentences. This is sentence 1, this is sentence 2. So line height is to go to this side. This is the line height. There's the height between this and this sentence. All right, okay, so in between this side, this is what we are going to talk about. this is where we are going to apply the style. So let's go to the browser, let's go to the code editor and apply the line height. So now at the moment I'll give a line height of 5 and we will see what will happen. We refresh and you see we have a line height of 5. Okay, there's a wide space in between the sentences. Let's bring it low and make it 3. When we make it 3 to you see what is happening. Yes, we can also make it 1.7. This is what mostly I like to use. So 1.7 pixel will be like this one. Okay, so that's all about line height in CSS. That's all about line height. And mind you, for line height you don't need to add pixels or whatever, just 1.7, 2, 2.5, 2.3, just the number, just the value. Okay, if you put just the value, it will work for you. So you don't need to worry yourself putting pixels and other things. This one is okay for the line height to work successfully. We also have another thing that I would like to talk about. Let me comment this one. Another thing that I would like to talk about is the word spacing. So word spacing is for spacing words in the document. Okay, word spacing for spacing words in the document. So right now you see a word like the member, like this. See, they are close, the letters are closer to each other. Okay, so what the word spacing does is it introduces some spaces in between the letters of the words of the element that we want to apply the style to. So this element here, all the letters here, that's what we are talking about. We are going to apply the word spacing. So we make it 2. Let's make it 10 pixels. So we make it 10 pixels and we refresh and we see that the word spacing, oh, okay, sure, the word spacing, I mean letter spacing, not word spacing, letter spacing. Okay, letter spacing. All right, so you see that there are now some spaces in between the letters, in between the letters. Okay, in between the letters. So let's make it 5 and you see what will happen. They will be closer this time around. Okay, so that's all about the letter spacing. We also have the word spacing. The word spacing, the one that I did previously. So word spacing, let's give the word spacing 10 pixels, and just as the name implies, it spaces the words. It introduces some spaces in between the words. Okay, that's all about the word spacing. So as for word spacing, you need to bring the unit of measurement. Okay, unlike the line height, which is not compulsory, just put it there and it works. Okay, so that's all about the word spacing in CSS. I want to also introduce you to another powerful and most important thing. But before I go to that one, let me revert the sentence back to how it was. To that one line. We have text align. Okay, text align, and text align is for aligning the text. By default, every text is aligned to the left. Okay, so let's say this one is to the left. If you want it to be aligned at the right side, what we do is we specify text align and we say align to the right. So this will push the words or the sentence to the right side of the screen as we are looking at. Okay, we can also make it to the left, text align left, and it will shift back to the left side. We can change it from left to center, and the center will make the sentence at the, it will bring the sentence to the center of the screen as we are seeing here. Okay, so that's all about the text alignment in CSS. It's just like the one that we've been using in the Microsoft Word. Okay, we push it to the left, to the right, and we also have the justify. Okay, which almost does more or less the same thing. Okay, so you can also play around this at your own free time and try as much as possible to know different things, some of the things that you can be doing with them. Okay, I'm just giving you the steps so you have to use the steps to move forward. Okay, so try as much as possible and go over them. Try and change the values around to get your desired design that you want to have. Okay, all right. So we also have another property called text shadow. Text shadow, and what the text shadow does is it gives shadow to the text. It gives shadow to the text. So 10 pixel, 10 pixel. We will come back to the explanation, don't worry if you don't understand. And then the color is blue. Let's look at what we have in a browser. So we can see that, okay, we have a shadow created. Okay, a shadow created, and the shadow is at the back of the text. Okay, and you can bear witness that this shadow is the same as the text, just that it has been blurred out. Okay, and the color is also blue. The color is blue, but it basically is the same text. So we can come here and we can change this side. And by the way, this side specify the blurriness of the shadow. Okay, this last thing here, the 3 pixel, it specify the blurriness of the shadow. So we can change it from 3 to 2, and look at how the blur is. Let's refresh, and when we refresh, you see it's becoming visible. We can also change it from 2 to 1, and we refresh again, we see that it's now visible. Okay, just like the text. But let's change it back to the 3 pixels so that we increase the blurriness of the shadow to how it was previously. Alright, I want you to introduce you to these two properties. This property represents these two values are for setting the top and bottom, left and right of the shadow. Okay, so the first one is for setting the left and the right of the shadow. So now we see that it's far from the left side, it's now here. Okay, so look at what happens here. Let's change this one from 10 to 3 pixels, and at the moment we can see the changes. Let's refresh and see the changes. You see that now it is coming to the left side. Okay, we can also come back and instead of 3 change it to 2, and we can also see the changes that it is coming to the left side gradually. Okay, what if we make it 0? When we make it 0, it will be at the left side, equal to the text. Okay, equal to the text. That is all this property does. It is used for setting the left and then the right of the shadow, pushing it to the left or pushing it to the right. So we've seen pushing it to the right. If we give it a positive number like 10, it will push it to the right side like this. If we want it to go to the left side, we also give it a negative number. So negative number will push the shadow to the left side. So let's refresh, and we can see that now the eye is not even visible because it has been pushed to the left side of the screen. Okay, so left will push the content to the left, negative will push the content to the left, and positive will push it to the right. Okay, but I want to maintain it. I want to change it to 2 pixels so that I have it, yeah, sure, I have it like this. And then this value here is for setting the vertical, so setting the top and then the bottom of the shadow. Okay, for now it's 10. If we change it from 10 to 5, previously you see that the shadow is beneath. When we change it to 5 and refresh, you see that now it's moving to the top. Okay, we can change it from 5 to also 2, and you can see when we refresh, it is now moving to the top. Now we see the shadow beneath the text nicely, unlike how it was previously. We can also change this one to a negative value, like let's say the same 15, and refresh, and you see what will happen. Okay, so if you set it to the negative value, it pushes it to the top. Okay, the negative value will push it to the top, and when you set it to the positive value, it comes down. So let's do it like this. Normal 2 pixels. Then we have our shadow sitting nicely behind our text. And one thing that I want to also highlight is, don't forget your unit of measurement. Always make sure to bring your pixels. Okay, 3 pixels, 2 pixels. Make sure the pixels will come, or whatever unit of measurement you will be using. Make sure it will come. And I am going to change the blurriness to 1 pixel. And when I change it, you see that now it's blur. But when we make, as we're making it 1, it will become visible. You see. So now you see that the shadow is visible. Let us change the shadow to 5 pixels, and we see that it is not being shown at all. So this is how it is. You can manipulate it anyhow. This side is for setting the left and then the right. When you make it just as I said, when you make it negative, you refresh. Let's go to the browser. When you make it negative, it gets to the left side, and then positive will make it move to the right side. Okay, so that's all about text shadow, how to give shadow to your text. 5 pixels seems so much. Let me make it 3. Let me make it 3, and let's see what is happening. Very good. So we have this shadow. It's not looking really nice, but the concept is not about making it look good. I want you to understand how it is done. Okay, you can change the colors too, from blue to red. You can also make it let's say brown, and that one too will work powerfully. Okay, so whatever way you, apart from the text shadow, we also have box shadow. Okay, box shadow. You know, previously I said that HTML CSS sees every element as a box. Okay, every element is seen as a box. Every element is seen as a box. So this P that we are seeing here is being rendered as a box. So it can contain a height and also a width. So let's try the box shadow and see if I want to in action. So with the box shadow, it's just like the text shadow. So box shadow. As for the box shadow, it will give the shadow to the box element. It will give shadow to the box, not the text. So that one to follow the same pattern. We can, just as this one setting the horizontal, the left and the right, and then the top and the bottom, together with the blurriness, and then the color we want to give it. Okay, the color we want to give it. So we give it red. Let's go to the browser and refresh. When we refresh, you are seeing something on the screen, something really nice. Okay, as for this one, I'll take my time to style it so that it look very much, it looks good. I'll give it a background of black, and I'll give the text color of white. Okay, let's give it a width of 200 pixels. Go back to the browser and let's refresh. Very good. This is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. Let's try and go back to what we've done so far. So let's apply some padding to it. Let's apply some padding. So give it padding of all round. So 10 pixels. Padding of all round 10 pixels. That means all the sides will have a padding of 10 pixels. And if you are confused, you are new, you can go back to a CSS box model lecture. I'll try and link the description. I'll try and link it to the description so that you can access it early. So when we refresh, you see the padding applied. When we were doing the padding, some people were sending me message that they were confused. They don't know how to go about the padding. So this is how the padding look like. You see, under normal circumstance, this is our text inside the box element. Okay, we've given it a background, and you can see that the text is touching the end of the box. Okay, the text is touching the end, but the moment we apply a padding of 10 pixel to the element, you now see that instead of the letters touching the end of the let me say the end of its border, Now there has been some space around it. Okay, that's all about the padding. And the word spacing is giving it some space which I don't like. So let me just turn the word spacing off. The word spacing, let me just turn it off, comment it out so that it will not be applied. The browser will not include that one. I refresh and this is what I'm seeing. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. Also, there's one thing. Let's turn off the text align from justification to none. Let's turn that one too off. Okay, so this is all about the padding. Let me also apply a margin to it so that we can at least know how these properties work. Margin of 10 pixels to it. We refresh, but look at the position of the text. The moment we apply a margin talks about the outside of the border. Okay, the outside of the border. This is the border. This is the border. The edges of the box is the border, and outside will be the margin. So when we refresh, we have added the margin, so definitely it has to move. Okay, it has been moved. You can see that it has been moved. It is not how it is. All right, so let's now go with the box shadow. This is something small to see how the padding and the margin works. Okay, and this side is setting the left and the right. Okay, so if we make it something like -12, if we make it -12, watch what happens. You see, when we make it, we change it to -12, it has been shifted to the left side. Okay, let's revert it back to how it was. It's 2 pixels, so 2 pixels, it has to come to the right, setting as you are seeing. Okay, so negative setting, making this side negative will push the content to the left, and making it positive will make it will push it to the right. Okay, so anyhow you want it, you manipulate it. And this one is for setting the top and the bottom. Let me just make this one -12 too. You see that it will move to the top. Okay, now it's at the top. It has been moved to the top. Let's change it to back to 2 pixels, and it is looking good. It is looking like this. Okay, so that's all about the box shadow. And this side is for setting the blendness of the shadow. We can change it from 3 to 2 pixels, and when we come back to refresh, we see that now it's becoming more, it's becoming visible. We can change it from 2 to 1 pixels, and that one too, you can see that it is also becoming visible. Okay, so that's how to set the box shadow. That's how to set the box shadow. But ordinarily I like to set my box shadow like this. So 0, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, gray to gray. This is how I like to set my my border. This thing I like to set my box shadow. Okay, you will not see it well, but this is how I like it. When it was when the background, we change the background a little bit, we apply the styles, it will look very, very good. Okay, it will look very, very good. But just as I keep on saying, this is not about doing something beautiful or stunning. It's about just letting you to know the techniques, making you to know the concept. All right, making you to know the concept. So that's all about the box shadow, how you give shadow to the box. Remember that this side depicts, or this side indicates whether the left or the right, okay, of the shadow. If it becomes negative, then the shadow will be moving to the left side. And the second one you are seeing here is also a value for the top or the bottom. Okay, when the value is negative, then your shadow will be moving to the top. When it is negative, when it is normal, it will come down. All right. Okay, and then the this side is for the blendness of the shadow. If you want your shadow to be blurred out, then you get to use this one. Okay, so I can change this one to 10, and we see this is how our shadow look like. Let's refresh. You see how now it look like. Okay, but if we change it back to the 1 pixel, we see that now it's a 1 pixel something. Okay, it's now at 1 pixel something. So this side is for changing the blendness of the shadow. Let me keep it at the 3 pixel and it becomes normal. So this is all about the box shadow. I want to introduce you to something that I left out whilst we were doing the box model. There's another property called border radius. Okay, and this is what border radius does. Look at the content on the screen. You can see that at the edges there's a sharp edge here, a sharp edge. Okay, the moment we apply the border radius and give it a value of maybe 5 pixel, you see that now instead of it being sharp, it has changed to be rounded. Okay, it has changed to be rounded. We can give it any value we want, like 50 pixels, and when we make it 50, you know what is going to happen. All right, you know what is going to happen. So border radius is really good. You have to be using them for your content to look great. 3 pixels will also, just as you know, give it a radius of 3 pixels all around. Okay, a radius of 3 pixels all around. The design is very bad. You don't want to be doing this kind of design. Background of black with a shadow of red. It does not look good. But I am just using this so that you understand it. When you understand it, then we can just move on to something that is very beautiful, something that is very good. Okay, so that's all about the box shadow. Box shadow is really great. You have to be using them. Okay, there's other one thing too that I want to show you in this lecture. Okay, let's go to the browser and let me show you. You see that for now our content is all in lower cases. Okay, all the content are in lower cases. We can change it from lowercase to uppercase, and to do that we use a property called text transform. Okay, text transform. So you can see the code editor is suggesting some values for us. We can make it lowercase, and if we make it lowercase, we are not going to see any changes because already the text are in lower cases. Okay, but in case we want uppercase, we can simply specify uppercase, and we refresh, and we see that now our content is now uppercase. Okay, they are now in the uppercase format. We can also change it from uppercase to capitalized, and what the capitalized does is it will capitalize, it will change the first letter of every word to a capital letter. Okay, so you see the first word of the first letter of each word is capitalized. That is what the capitalized does. Okay, we have the lowercase, uppercase, and then the capitalized. For me, I'm going to keep it at lowercase. Okay, you have to keep it however you want it. Keep it however you want it, and make sure you will also comment them out in your code so that in the future lessons you can be referring to them if in case you are left behind. Okay, so that's all about the text formatting. I want to also introduce you to one thing, that is a link tag. Okay, so I want everybody to come back to the HTML and create a new link, and let's call it very soon I'll be launching my browser, so I'll be launching my website. So this is how the name is going to be, codewithibra.com. so make sure you check it out once I create it. Okay, I want to give this link a class of link. Let's look at the changes in the browser. We refresh and you see our link is sitting here. When we click on it, it is not going to take us anywhere because of this hash here. The hash will make sure that when we click on it, it will not take it anywhere. If you take out the hash, if you click on it, it will refresh the page. Okay, to refresh the page, you see the page is being refreshed, but we put the hash there so that we prevent this link tag from going anywhere, from refreshing the page also. Okay, now in case maybe in your code you have a link and you want to style the link, okay, this is very important. you have a link and you want to style a link, this is what you have to do. So we come here, we give it a class called link. So we come to our CSS. Let me just collapse this, and we target the link. When we target the link, first we are going to give it a color. So color, let's make it color of yellow, okay, so that you see it, and look at what happens. Okay, so the color has been changed to yellow. Let's make it, we change it back to brown. So color brown, we change it also to color, just like the way to change colors. Okay, we can also, let's say that we don't want it to be underlined the way we are seeing here. Okay, and how to get it off is by using the text decoration that we studied, or the one we looked at. So we set the text decoration to none, and now we can see that our link has no underline. Before it was having the underline, but now we can see that it has no underline. Okay, we can also change the color to, as for this one, I don't need to be doing because we already know this one. Okay, changing colors, that's the same way. So we have changed the color to now blue. All right, so it's a link although, but instead of it having the default color, we have given it a different thing altogether. And we can also change the text decoration and give it overline, and when we give it overline, it will be applied successfully. All right, so now it has the overline here. It has the overline. So that's something small about link tag. Okay, you have to use the text decoration to specify either you want the default underline that comes with it, or maybe you want to change it to a different one, or remove it at all. So by default, this is how it looks like. Okay, I don't want it, so I'll set it to none, and now we have a link, but the link looks just like a text. Okay, all right, let us also look at how to list items, change the listing style in CSS. Alright, so in this video we are going to look at how to style listings, how to give style to our list of items in HTML. So let me start by declaring unordered list, and then the list will have let me list the names of some of the guys. So Chrissy, God, Rich, and also let me give, there's a guy called, I think, Masha, these guys are very, very contributive to the group. I really recognize them. Okay, and we also have let me give last one of, what's the name of this guy? Okay, Ice. All right, this the content that we have now. We will refresh and we see the names on the screen. Okay, so this is what we just added. Now, I said it when we were doing the HTML lectures that we can change, the type of the type of the listing. For now, you see the bulletin is a circle, like the circle. You can do all the changes with CSS. So let me give this a class called members. Okay, members. So I'll come to the CSS. Because it's a class, I will start with the dot, and then the name of the class, which was members. So with the members, that means we are targeting this particular element. Remember, not this one. We are targeting the parent. Okay, so we come and we tell the parent that, okay, list type. Okay, list style type. Very good. So list style, okay, is none. It's supposed to be list style type, but we can shorten it to list style. So list style is equal to none, and when we set it to none, we see that the bulletin is off. Now we don't have the bulletin attached or added again. All right, so that's all that this property does. When we set it to none, it will remove the list the list type or the default listing type that comes with it. Okay, that's all about it. There are so many things. Of course, you can even change it and add an image, but that is some way. It's an advanced feature that this property comes along with. So even though we know that this is an unordered list, okay, and if it was to be an ordered list, okay, let's comment this and go back to the browser, refresh. You see, as for unordered list, it gives a bulletin style, okay, a bulletin, either a dot or square or however. Okay, that's how the unordered list does. But with CSS, whether it's an unordered list or ordered list, we can still change them. So you just come here and we set the list style to let's set it to decimal, and when we set it to decimal, it is going to change to 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, even though it's an unordered list. Okay, by default only ordered list contains the either 1 2 3 or I or ABC. But with CSS it doesn't matter, we can change it anyhow we want. If we want it to be in the alphabet format, we can say that, okay, alpha, lower alpha. Okay, so lower dash alpha simply makes it a lowercase alphabet. Okay, and then we also have the upper alpha, all right. So there are many. You have the Roman numerals and all that. You can specify them using the CSS. All right. So this is something I want to show you. For now, I'll set it to none. I don't want any bulletin style to show. The list style type of the members is none. Okay. So we are not seeing the bulletin, either is an ordered list or unordered list. The bulletin will not show. So we've changed it to ordered list. Still, because we have specified that the list type is none, we are not going to see any bulletin here. Okay, this is what you are seeing. There's nothing showing, indicating that what we are having, even though it's a list, but the default style that comes with it has been turned off. By using the CSS, we've turned it off. So this is where I will end the video. I will end it here at the moment, and thank you for your time and thanks for watching. So this is something small that I want to share with you in this lecture, and we will meet in the next lecture. But I will ask you to kindly subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Try and give us your comment. Let us know how you feel about this lecture, and if also I made a mistake, I will be glad for you to point it out to me, because we are also and always learning. Thank you so much, and see you in the next lecture.